A lot of the bushfires started maybe around October in Queensland. That's the state that I'm from, so we had them fairly close to our home. And then obviously, it has spread. We've had them in, I think, every state in Australia pretty much. Predominantly, what's on the news like New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia. We've literally lost billions of our wildlife. Their ecosystems have been burnt down. And just seeing, for me, the amount of our wildlife carers, our veterinarians, our vet nurses that are out there treating these animals, but they haven't been recognised for doing that. My understanding is a lot of them were actually getting out there using their own resources, so using their own pharmaceuticals, their own medical supplies to treat as many of these injured wildlife as they could. They were doing this, they do have a private practice, and then they're doing this, some of them, in addition to doing that. So, they've gone above and beyond in what they're doing without the recognition and without a lot of the financial support to be able to do that. One of my colleagues was saying when we had our Queensland fire, so a lot of our wildlife didn't survive, and one at one of the wildlife centres was saying, when I asked her, I said, oh my gosh, you must have been inundated. And she said, well, a lot of them didn't make it, So one of the stories, and this is quite tragic, were 100 or so kangaroos just lined up on the side of the road, deceased. So having to witness that, particularly for the wildlife carers who are so passionate about, their well-being and their quality of life, to see that they haven't survived. There's been images of koalas and our, kangaroos and our wallabies and joeys, that have been trying to get out and haven't made it. There's been videos. There was one video that went viral of a koala, and a lady took off her t-shirt to wrap around it to help it, and then it was on the news that he didn't survive. It's just the emotional toll from seeing the suffering and hearing it. So when they're suffering, a lot of these animals, they're in pain, and you can actually hear that. There's a veterinary and a zoo, and our shelter workers and our wildlife carers are experiencing that. They're seeing and hearing this horror firsthand. We're about trying to make sure that they get the recognition and they get the support, because their jobs are already really stressful. So we want to make sure that they're feeling supported. I mean, this is added stress and added trauma for them. It's very horrific what they're seeing. For them to be able to deal with that and process that, it's really important that they get that support. I have heard, I was talking to some people here at VMX who were saying that they know people who are veterinarians who are actually going to Australia to volunteer to help, which is just beautiful, and we've had a lot of support from a lot of countries now, coming in with firefighters to be able to help to get the fires under control, but also to help rebuild. It's still, a lot of crisis and devastation. I think it's going to take quite a while for us to recover from that, a lot of people emotionally and psychologically.